Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off here with the indices. Then we're going to go over the Mag 7 stocks, and I have a few trade ideas at the end of the video just for you. So stay tuned. All right, so let's go over support and resistance, guys. On the downside, we're talking 627.86, 626.28, 625.16, 621.53. Now, in yesterday's video, we did mention bulls had to hang on to 626.28, guys. That is right where the 4-hour 21 EMA was sitting, and we did end up holding on to that level today. We actually put in the bottom right around there today, and we pushed up right off of there. And now, I'm just going to say the bulls kind of showed the bears what's up yet again. I'm not going to say QQ looks good, but I will say SPY doesn't look all too bad here on the 4-hour time frame. I will say on the daily time frame, this looks a little structurally unsound to me. And then if we come over here to QQQ, it also looks a bit funky to me. So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit it with a gap down tomorrow, a slight gap down, and then we get bought up through today's highs. And maybe we head up to new all-time highs tomorrow over here in SPY. Okay, so downside, 627.86, 626.28, 625.16, 621.53. On the upside, 629.73 today's high, above there, 631.54, 632, and then 635. Over here on QQQ, all right, like I said, it's not looking as good as SPY. Now, we did mention 560.80 in yesterday's video. We did hold on to 560.80, but it's looking a bit shaky over here on the 4-hour time frame. You can see over here on the hourly, we had this slow and controlled move back up into the hourly 21 EMA right there, and then we rejected. All right, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We just found a lot of selling going on right up there. We just slowly reverted to the mean, and this is not something that makes me think bullish thoughts. But I will say SPY does not look all that bad. Over here QQ, it just looks a bit more shaky. But yeah, let's go over the levels, guys. On the upside, 560.80, which it's the upside as of right now with where you're at in after hours, but it's really downside. So I guess we'll start with the downside. We're talking 560.80 underneath there, 558.61, 557.20, and 551.56. On the upside, we're really just going to be watching over here. You know what? We'll watch today's high. All right, 564.35 above there, 566.06, and then 570, 568, and then 570. Like I said, not all that bullish over here on the 4-hour chart. I will say if you pull back into 557.20, expect buyers there until proven otherwise. That's going to be the same spot that SPY pulled back to today, right over here where you broke out from. And like I was saying, this looks not bad at all. It really doesn't. This can easily come back up to the upside here, above 629.73 today's high. It's probably just going to go straight up to new all-time highs. SPY does not look bad. Tech right now doesn't look the best. We do have big tech earnings starting tomorrow after the bell with Google and Tesla earnings. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. But that is really what the market's going to be waiting on for its next move. And then we have the rest of the week free here until more big tech earnings next week. Okay, so get after it. All right, but that is SPY and QQ. We're just going to come over here to VIX, and I'm just going to point out, guys, and I'm also going to say, all right, I told you we'd have a big old mess over here where every time you come down here, you're probably going to be getting a little bounce over here on the VIX. Until eventually you break up, and I'm guessing you're going to eventually break out of this nice fallen wedge, this bullish reversal consolidation pattern right here, okay? But yeah, it does look like we're probably going to be taking out 1628, making a new low under there, and if that is going to be the case, then we're probably going to see SPY and QQ continue to the upside. I need 1628, we come down to 1570. I'm not really sure if you're going to do so, because of what I pointed out a few videos ago, where, once we start establishing these little ranges over here, we usually start breaking them to the upside sooner than the downside. You know, just like over there, just like over there, over here, you start having that move over there. All right, it's just it's a common theme there when you cannot put in a new floor on the VIX. Like we have this floor right here, it hasn't been able to break for, you know, this is the 5th week now. So yeah, I mean, I do think we're going to continue lower here, but just I would have your alert set like I do. If they start getting hit, then just know that, you know, yes, indices, they're going to be moving up while this thing's moving down, but you're probably not getting, you know, far underneath 1570 there without a decent sized bounce over here on the VIX, which is just going to keep pulling back the indices. If we don't get a correction this week, I think we're probably going to get a correction next week with those big tech earnings, but we will see. Let's talk about it. All right. DIA doesn't look all that bad at all. DIA and IWM, they're just bullishly consolidating here above short-term moving averages. There's nothing to be bearish about over here. You know, could we fall off a cliff? Yeah. But again, it's definitely just bullish consolidation going on. And from the weekly chart and the daily chart, it looks like we're about to be breaking off from this consolidation. Okay. So IWM is looking good. On the upside, you're watching 226.14, 227.98, and then 230.70. Now, you know, indices are looking good, guys. QQ is looking a bit shaky. Everything else is suggesting further upside. It's likely incoming. Let's come over here. And we're going to start off with the ones that are going to be reporting earnings. Tesla does not look bad at all. All right. Does not look bad at all coming into these earnings. Let's see if they're going to break you out. This bullish pennant you got going on here. I'm not sure if they're going to do it. We're going to find out tomorrow after the bell. Okay. So that is Tesla above 335.50, which we did get above today. We really don't have anything till around 360. So it's definitely going to make that move on earnings if it's going to make the move. So don't shame yourself if you can't catch it. All right. You don't have to take on that risk. It is something that is either going to fall flat in its face tomorrow after the bell or it doesn't. We don't know. All right. But that is Tesla. Google. All right. You fell off a cliff this morning. You climbed all the way back up there, brick by brick. All right. Or step by step, climb by climb, whatever we're going to call climbing up a mountain there. All right. But yeah, you slowly climbed your way back up throughout the day. You closed up near where you closed yesterday. You closed 0.5% up. On the upside, guys, we really just above 192.61. We have 194.55, 198.16, and then 202.88. I am not sure if we're going to be getting this, you know, crazy impulsive push up to new all-time highs tomorrow after the close. I really have no idea. But I will point out daily RSI is overbought. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback with it now that this has actually had more of a move here. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's GOOG. Coming over here to NVDA. Well, NVIDIA, guys, pulling back into that 21 EMA, 160.98. That's the level to be holding. If you aren't going to hold it, we're getting a larger pullback. Simple as that. And if we don't hold 160.98, we're talking 152.89. NVIDIA, Microsoft, continuing to pull back today. Now, I'm just going to say a lot of things, guys. They closed out with the 15-minute RSI is just oversold. We didn't get any bounce. All right. Same with the 1-hour RSI over here on Microsoft. It looks more, you know, controlled than an impulsive sell to me. I know this looks ugly over here on the daily time frame. But, you know, with what I just showed you on the smaller time frames, you know, hourly 4-hour charts here. Yeah, I think we are probably going to hold this low and start pushing back up tomorrow off of this. That's just a hunch I got over here, okay? But Microsoft, take out 514.64. We're talking 520. Likely comes quick. On the downside, you're watching 576. Don't lose there, or it's timber. We're probably going to have a larger market sell-off come from that point because this is the guy who's been leading it. And if the guy who's been leading is out of breath, has no leader, probably time to come down a bit. All right, for 1 to 2 weeks. All right, that is Microsoft. Amazon. All right, not the worst look, but not the best. All right, I would say it's probably best to leave this one alone. It did get 230 right off the open today, but it didn't go at all above 230. 230 was the exact high. Now, I am thinking we are probably just going to be doing a whole lot of nothing here, or we're going to start just pushing up off of that. But, you know, I don't think it's worth trading this thing for upside at this point. I know we still do have this rising wedge pattern. I'm just going to delete that right there. I don't think that's going to be playing out. Daily RSI still not gone into overbought territory. It's pretty surprising here. But we do have earnings next Thursday after the close. So that is going to be bringing a big move here. I think this thing wants all-time highs. That is Amazon. Meta, all right, wasn't looking all that bad, but today you got slammed. All right, now you have a bearish engulfing candlestick here. You got to break above 717 for you to start getting a larger push. Above 717, we're talking 728 and then 737.53. The downside, you have 699.05, and then you have Friday's low over here at 691.65. Break underneath 691.65, talking 678.67 is up next. Apple started picking a direction today, guys. Technically picked it yesterday, I pointed that out. But we started really moving in that direction. We got a strong close today. All right, the market looked a bit shaky, guys. This thing is about to start having some crazy moves to the upside, if I'm guessing correctly. All right, real talk. Weekly cloud is about to flip back to bullish. I've been talking about this once it happens. We're going to have a few weeks where dips are buying opportunities. We're probably going to keep making highs week after week. All right, 3 to 4 weeks incoming of upside. 220 to 225 incoming as of right now. Above 214.56, we're talking 216.23, 219.38, 225.70. You wanted a trending Mag 7 stock over the coming weeks. This is your play. Apple. All right, good things coming to the market near you. All right, now let's go over some trade ideas that we got going on besides that, but I'm just letting you guys know. Apple, first of all, I started getting involved today, but I just think that's probably one of the cleanest setups we're seeing right now, considering it has been consolidating. Let's just we're talking about, let's just have it over here. Okay, real talk, this thing has been consolidating 4 months. All right, the market, most of the market, it left it in the dust. This is 3 months of straight consolidation, has not broken out of the range. 214.56 is the range high right there. You know, honestly, it's probably about to start making really big moves to the upside here, and we're probably going to see 225.70 come over the next like 2 weeks here. I don't know how big, you know, this initial move is going to be, but I imagine it's probably going to be a bit explosive coming out of this consolidation. So I'm here for it. Maybe you're here for it. Let's all get it. All right, that is Apple, but also earnings next week. So hopefully let's get this party started before earnings. So yeah, we don't have to hold and play for a move through then, because honestly, I don't know how that's going to go. But I do know how these charts are probably about to go with how they're set up. And upside, we're talking upside, likely going to happen into earnings next week. So play the move before earnings. That's Apple. But coming over here, guys, we're talking Target. I talked about Target the other day. I put it on your radar, and now I'm telling you, it's time. It's time. It's going to start moving up above 105.97. We're talking 108.76. I think a larger move up is starting over here on Target, though, on the weekly time frame. Above 108.76, it is absolutely nothing until 120.21. Big move likely incoming over here on Target. All right, now let's talk Bitcoin, guys. I think Bitcoin is about to start pushing up. All right, we got a little false move yesterday, pulled back, actually gave back the whole move, took out that low, yesterday's low today, and now we have taken out yesterday's high. Okay, we're currently at 119.5K. We did get as high as 120K earlier today, and I do think Bitcoin is about to start moving back to the upside. Maybe this is a little baby candlestick before we start getting some expansion going on, guys. But I think Bitcoin is just doing one of its little things here where it likes to trade flat before getting that next leg up. You know, we had a ton of consolidation here on the weekly chart. We could see this is a ton of consolidation here. I think this party is just getting started, and we're probably going to 125K, 125 to 130K over the next probably week, guys. I'm thinking maybe this week this is going to be taking place. So let's get it. Let's see how this goes. And MSTR, guys, it hit the daily 21 EMA. You guys know what that means. All right, the run. It's the beginning of the end, which means you're going to be selling this bounce, and maybe on the next pullback, you're not going to be getting back in. Why? Because it's probably going to be the beginning of the end. I think we probably only have, you know, one more little push up here. I think it makes sense that if Bitcoin is going to be put, maybe this time is going to be different. Okay, I'm just pointing out For years now, every time the 21 EMA has been tested, it has been the beginning of the end. Okay, where you just boom, you didn't go up and make a new high that time. You just didn't. The whole run, you didn't test the 21. You tested 21 over here. Oh, guess what? It's the beginning of the end. You tested over here. Oh, it is the end. Now, we did find buyers, so we know it's not this scenario right over here. I do think we're going to get a very decent bounce up here. I think we're about to see 445 to 450 come over the coming 1 to 2 sessions. I think we have a chance of taking out the 457.22 high this week. If Bitcoin's going to cooperate, Bitcoin needs to cooperate. Bitcoin needs to get back above 123. What is it? 123.236. Okay. If we can see that, maybe it happens tomorrow, because I think once this happens, I think we're going to get a 5K day, and a 5K day from current prices. Yeah, it takes you up to 125K. So I do think it's going to happen pretty quick. And if that does happen, I think MSTR is likely going to push back up to these highs. I think it's setting up for it. I think it makes sense. And yeah, let's get it with that one last hurrah over here on MSTR. It's setting up over here on the 4-hour time frame. On the daily chart, it's looking good off the daily 21 EMA. If we can get above 437, that is when this thing is probably going to start pushing straight up to 457.22. Above 437, we're talking 444.94, and then 457.22, and then 474.80 likely incoming. Not sure if it's going to happen into the end of this week, but I do think that's a move it's more probable than not. I'm really surprised MSTR isn't really moving, a bunch more for what Bitcoin, really did over there. But maybe we are going to have, another massive leg up over here. And this is not all she wrote for MSTR. I'm here for it. I hope that's going to be the case, but I'm just letting everybody know that might be, on this next bounce. You might not want to get in after that next, pullback that happens after the bounce, because this could be the beginning of the end. That's MSTR. Now, Bitcoin's going to be moving. IREN, guys, it looks like it wants to start climbing back up to these highs over here. 2154, yesterday's high, when it had that crazy 20% spike right off the open, within an hour of the open. There you go. So something to focus on. You got this little flat top set up over here, guys. And yeah, most of the times these things do end up breaking up. Obviously, we didn't break up, but it was, got given back yesterday. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see further upside over here on IREN. I'm obviously focused on MSTR. But yeah, IREN does not look all that bad over here. All right, moving on over here to Reddit. All right, above 150.39. I think this thing's probably going to quickly be moving back up to 164.55. This thing can get 10 to 15 point moves in a day. All right, I think that might be about to go down. All right, so that is RDDT Reddit. And I'm just going to let you guys peep the weekly chart over here, pulling back, reverting to the mean. And yeah, it looks like you're just basing before pushing back up to new highs. And I think above 164.55, we have 174.22 incoming. D-King, Donkey Kong. All right, DraftKings, not Donkey Kong, but D-King, Donkey Kong. All right. Weekly chart suggests this thing, it might be about to make a decent move, guys. We might start getting that leg up. You see how we have this 3 candle range going on here. In the following week, we literally had the whole body, the whole candle is just taking place inside that upper wick there from the previous week. Typically, when we see that and we don't take out that previous week's high, we will start expanding above that over the coming weeks. And once you start doing it, then it could start turning into a big move. I think we might be starting to see the start of the next leg up here on D-King. It didn't quite start that move today. It had a little, false breakout there around the open. But as we could see here, this thing's kind of just basing out here on the 4-hour time frame at the upper end of this pennant here. It looks like it wants to break up. All right, so keep it on your radar. Above today's high, 45.16, likely goes 45.87 pretty quick. And above there, guys, you're targeting 47, 48, 49.57. All right, that is D-King. TOST, T-O-S-T, still shaping up over here. It's looking mighty fine when the market's as weak as it was today. Real talk, this thing is it's holding its own. All right, holding its own. I still think this weekly candle is probably going to expand. I think 50 is on the table by Friday. All right, so that is TOST. Bull. All right, Bull, it's getting a little pop in the after hours there. All right, you had a little breakout over 15.15. You hit it with the break and a retest, and then bang, you got bought back up. And now, as of after hours, you are above that high. Above 1722, guys, this thing's likely heading up to 1885. I think this is getting ready for a decently, larger move here. Let's just look at it this way. When you expanded above over here, over that weekly high there, you had a 13% move over that high. Well, if you're going to do the same thing over here, then we are talking 1950 incoming by end of week. We'll see if it happens, but I do think a larger move is possible here on bull. All right, I didn't think it was going to happen, but then it started happening, and the charts are going to do what the charts want to do. Your job is to try to go along with it. Yeah, bull. Probably going to be a name that we're going to be hearing about over the coming weeks. SOFI, all right. You had your dip bought today. That's all that happened there. Was that any surprise? No, not really. Not really. Aggressive uptrend. And I will say maybe we're about to do this over here where we base out. We base out into the end of the week and then start to push up next week. That is a setup to pay attention to. Or it could just start getting bought back up to the highs. We really don't know, but you do have earnings coming in hot next week. All right, so that is going to be next Tuesday over here on earnings for SOFI. ASTS, another one that saw, that gap down, that moved down intraday, it got bought up, and boom, all of a sudden you have a hammer candlestick. ASTS, guys, if this thing gets above 5803, it's probably getting above 6095. You do that, you take out 6095. I'm thinking this thing might go $70 this week. I think it might get some big boom boom candlesticks here. Real talk, you broke through this high. You didn't really move far. All right, you didn't move that much. You did move a decent amount. That's 7 points, but this pullback here was 11 points. All right, so if we're gonna have that 11.6 point, 11.6 point, yeah, that's a tongue twister there. All right, if we're gonna have that move, we're coming up here $65. So I do think 65 to $70 is probably coming over here. Something to keep on the radar. If you see a dip, buy a dip if you want to. But I do think this is something that is going to start pushing back up the highs. Probably tomorrow gets back above 60.95. And really, if you can get above 5803, it's like we're going to be moving to 65 to $70 because you get above 5803. What we just talked about, get above there. It's a key spot. You can see it's a key spot there. Get above the key spot. We're moving to the next area, which is highs 60.95 above there, $65.70 incoming. As ASTS, Rocket Lab, another gapper. All right, it gapped down just like SOFI, just like ASTS there, and it got bought up. It's probably going to be bought back up to the highs over the coming session. Something to keep your eye on if you'd like. All right, anybody who has been trading it, all right, you probably just got to buy an opportunity before this thing comes back up 53.44 by end of this week. Rocket Lab, Oklo. All right, I know it looked crazy, very crazy, but you did have the 15-minute bullish diverge going on right there at the bottom as you came in to the golden pocket from this most recent advance. All right, and as we can see here, you printed this big fat doji candlestick, a 4-hour doji candlestick off of 49.14. Daily time frame, well, guess what? Around the 0.618, around the breakout level 59.14, key level right there, is also where we have the daily 21 EMA. You found buyers off that today, guys. If you get back above 64.78, I think Oklo's probably going to start pushing back up. It would make more sense than not. We might be doing this crap right over here, like we, boom, you rejected there, and then the next week you ended up going up. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll see what happens. But definitely still want to keep your eye on. I don't think the nuclear theme is done yet. I think Oklo sees 80 plus. I do. I don't think it's going to take out this low before taking out this high. Yeah, I said that right. A&F, all right, one that's consolidating on all the market's weakness today. This thing is just literally just consolidating this little range here. You got a range after breaking out of a range. Above 96.48, we're talking 99.12, 104.99. All right, big move. Likely coming, just like Target over there. Weekly time from getting ready for a big move. I think this thing's coming up to 108.50. It's A&F. All right. Last one for today. We're just going to talk about QBTS, guys. So this is one that you came up here, swept 1977 highs. You pulled back to the daily 21 EMA as of today. You also pulled back 1754. You did hold it. Let's see what happens tomorrow, guys. If you do get back above today's high, 1838. You're probably going to start pushing it back up, and then you really just got to take out 1977 again. I think this has a crazy impulsive move. We know CELH is sitting right over here. We have to get through that area, and then I'm telling you, we're going to have another one of these moves, these massive kind of guys, and we're here for it. All right, but yeah, you know, if buyers are going to defend, it's going to be right over here. They're not going to let you take out that low right there. They're going to hold the daily 21 EMA and where you broke out from. If they're not holding it, it's not a good sign. But honestly, if you close out, even if you close out the week like this, you're probably going to get bought up next week and then make that move next week. But I do think there is a chance that we get bought up and we consolidate here into the end of the week and we print a candle just like that, and then a big move happens next week. That is also a possibility. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, with that being said, there was also a ton of hood flow coming in today, guys. There were millions of, I think they were the September calls being bought, the September 105C, or it was the August. It might have been 8-1 105C being spammed over here on hood, but they were shorter dated. But definitely the heaviest flow I was seeing come in today was over here, you know, out the money, sweeps above the ask, was over here on hood today. So that is something to pay attention to over the coming sessions. That hit it with the break and retest today off 188. All right, and you did find bars off of there, and you were holding it. You know, it's not looking too bad. If you get above 106.64 here, you know what? We'll just mark out today's high. Take out today's high at 105.93. You're probably going to march your way back up to 113.44. All right, guys, with that being said, if you want to come trade with me, I'm live every day. You can find that link down below in the description. And other than that, guys, all I ask is that you leave a like on this video. It's all I ask for on these videos. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos and giving you guys some quality analysis. People ask if I use indicators to get my levels. Nope, it's just all me. So yeah, all I ask for is that like, so we can try and, you know, get new subscribers onto the channel and grow the channel. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about all this in the comments there. Love hearing your thoughts. All right, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.